Hi there, and welcome to English Adventure, the channel where language meets real life. If you've ever dreamed of speaking English confidently, connecting with people from around the world, and discovering who you really are through a new language, then you've just found the right place. Here, we don't just teach English. We live it, we explore it, and most importantly, we grow with it. My name is Adam, and in this very first episode, I want to share something deeply personal. A story that started with fear, but led to fluency. A journey not just across countries, but into confidence and self-discovery. Because maybe, just maybe, my story could one day be yours too. So sit back, relax, and let's begin. This is episode 1. The journey begins. From tourist to fluent. Have you ever pictured yourself wandering through vibrant markets in a foreign country, chatting effortlessly with locals, or sharing a laugh over a meal in a language that once felt impossible? Not just stumbling through basic phrases or nervously ordering food, but truly connecting, understanding the humor, sharing your own stories, and feeling like you belong. Maybe you've imagined sipping tea in a cozy London cafe, debating life with new friends, or telling a joke that makes everyone burst out laughing. But then, a quiet voice creeps in, whispering, "Is this really possible for someone like me? Can I actually learn a language and feel at home in it?" If that thought has ever crossed your mind, then you're in the right place. This podcast isn't just about my journey. It's about the journey you could take too. It's about turning dreams into reality. One word, one conversation, one brave step at a time. Part 1, my story, begins. I'm just a regular guy from a small town in Spain. I grew up surrounded by sunny hills, olive trees, and the sound of Spanish chatter in the streets. I've always had two big loves in life, exploring the world and learning languages. But here's the truth. I'm not one of those people who picks up languages effortlessly. I wasn't the kid who learned English from watching cartoons or breezed through language classes with perfect scores. In fact, learning English was a struggle for me. I stumbled over words, blanked out in conversations, and felt embarrassed more times than I can count. There were moments when I wanted to give up entirely. But deep inside, I couldn't shake this vision. Me, walking through the bustling streets of London, talking with locals, joking, sharing stories, not as an outsider, but as someone who belonged. I dreamed of understanding the quick wit of British humor, ordering fish and chips without hesitating, and maybe even throwing in a cheeky phrase or two. That dream kept me going, even when the road felt long and rocky. So, at the age of 25, I made a life-changing decision. I didn't just want to dream anymore. I wanted to act. I bought a one-way ticket to the United Kingdom. Just me, a worn-out backpack, and a heart full of hope. I wasn't going to be a tourist snapping photos of Big Ben or posting selfies on Instagram. My mission was deeper. To live, to learn, and to listen. I had no idea then that this choice would spark a journey bigger, richer, and more transformative than I could have ever imagined. You might be wondering, what made me take the leap at 25? Why not when I was younger? Or why not wait until life felt more stable? Honestly, I was at a crossroads. I had a steady job back in Spain, one that paid the bills and kept me comfortable, but it didn't light me up. Every day felt like a repeat of the last. Wake up, work, go home, sleep. Meanwhile, my friends were starting to settle down, buying homes, getting married, building families. And while I was happy for them, I knew that wasn't my path. Not yet. I had this burning curiosity, this hunger to see the world, to meet new people, to collect stories. I wanted to answer the question, who am I when I step outside my comfort zone? Turning 25 felt like a wake-up call. I didn't want to look back at my life in 20 years and wonder, what if? So I chose to bet on myself. I chose adventure. And that choice changed everything. Part 2. Why English? Why the UK? Now you might be curious. Why did I choose English? And why the UK? After all, there are so many languages to learn and places to explore. I could have gone to the United States with its sprawling cities and Hollywood charm. I could have picked Australia with its sunny beaches and laid-back vibe. Or maybe Canada with its stunning mountains and friendly locals. So why the UK? For me, the UK had a special kind of magic. There was something about the way British culture blended old and new. Think about it. You've got ancient castles and cobblestone streets sitting right next to cutting-edge tech startups and vibrant music scenes. You've got the elegance of afternoon tea and the raw energy of grime artists like Stormzy. From the poetry of Shakespeare to the buzz of modern London, the UK felt like a place where language wasn't just a tool. It was alive, evolving, and full of personality. I was also drawn to the little things, the charm of red double-decker buses, the smell of rain on green fields, the cozy pubs where strangers become friends over a pint. I wanted to understand the rhythm of British life, the sarcasm, the politeness, the love of queuing, and yes, I'll admit it, I was a little obsessed with the British accent. Who wouldn't want to sound just a tiny bit like Benedict Cumberbatch or Emma Watson? Before I left Spain, I did what every eager language learner does. I downloaded apps like Duolingo and committed to a 30-day streak. I listened to English podcasts on my commute, nodding along even when I only caught half the words. I watched BBC documentaries about history and wildlife, bravely turning off the subtitles and understanding maybe 15% of it. I reread Harry Potter in English, feeling proud every time I recognized a new word. I made flashcards for the 500 most common English words and practiced phrases in front of my bathroom mirror, pretending I was ordering tea or chatting with a friend. I even tried mimicking the Queen's accent for a day, before realizing I sounded more like a confused robot. I thought I was ready. I thought I had it all figured out, but as I'd soon learn, no app, no book, no flashcard can fully prepare you for the real thing. Living in a language is a whole different game. It's messy, it's raw, and it's beautifully human. Part 3. The reality check. Struggles and breakthroughs. Let me take you back to my very first morning in London. I was jet-lagged, nervous, and buzzing with excitement. I walked into a small cafe near my hostel, ready to test my English skills. The barista, a cheerful woman with a bright smile, looked at me and said, "Hiya. What can I get you, love?" My brain froze. Love? Did she just call me love? Was that a compliment? Was she flirting? Was it an insult? In Spain, we don't call strangers love, so I had no idea what was happening. I stood there, mouth open, for what felt like an eternity. Finally, I mumbled latte in the most robotic voice possible, grabbed my coffee, and bolted out the door with a forced smile. That night, alone in my tiny rented room, I cried. Not because of the coffee or the barista, but because I felt so small. I felt like an imposter. My carefully rehearsed phrases, my flashcards, my Duolingo streak, they all felt useless. I thought, what if I'm not cut out for this? What if I'm not smart enough? What if this dream is too big for someone like me? That moment was a low point, but it was also a turning point. Instead of giving up, I decided to start over. I became a student of real life, not just textbooks. I created a new plan to learn English in a way that felt alive and meaningful. Daily practice. I recorded myself reading English books or articles out loud every day. Then, I'd listen back, cringing at my mistakes, but also noticing my progress. Immersion at home. I stuck post-it notes on everything in my room. Bed, lamp, mirror, door, with their English names. It was like turning my space into a giant vocabulary game. Real conversations. I joined apps like Hello Talk and Tandem to chat with native English speakers. At first I was nervous, but soon I was having daily conversations about everything from music to food. Local connections. I found a language exchange meetup in Camden, where people from all over the world gathered to practice English. I met a Brazilian chef, a Korean student, and a French artist, all chasing the same dream. Learning on the go. I carried a small notebook everywhere. If I heard a new phrase on the bus or in a shop, like cheers or fancy a cuppa, I'd jot it down and practice it later. Mimicking the pros. I watched English YouTubers and TV shows like Friends, pausing to repeat lines until I could match their rhythm and tone. I even started dreaming in English. At first, progress was slow. I still made mistakes. Lots of them. I mixed up there and there, forgot past tense verbs, and pronounced the like a Z half the time. But something was shifting. The fear that used to grip me started to fade. I laughed at my slip-ups instead of hiding from them. I felt braver, more curious. Part 4. Building Bridges Through Culture. The real magic happened when I joined a homestay program in Oxford. I lived with a kind British family who welcomed me like one of their own. One evening we sat around their dining table, eating shepherd's pie and sharing stories. There were no flashcards, no grammar drills, just real, messy, beautiful conversation. I listened as they talked about their childhoods, their favorite holidays, their dreams. Then, it was my turn. I told a story about the time I was 7 and crashed my bike while chasing a stray dog down my street. My English wasn't perfect. I stumbled over words, used the wrong tense, and probably invented a few phrases. But they listened, they laughed, they asked questions, and in that moment, I realized something profound. Language isn't about getting every word right. It's about building a bridge from your heart to someone else's. That realization changed everything. I started seeking out more ways to connect with the culture. Book club adventures. I joined a small book club in Edinburgh where we read To Kill a Mockingbird. Discussing the story with others helped me find my voice in English, even when I didn't know all the words. Giving back. I volunteered at a local food bank, handing out groceries and chatting with people. Those small conversations about the weather, their kids, or their favorite recipes made me feel like part of the community. Creative risks. I performed at an open mic night in Brighton, reading a poem I wrote about learning English and feeling like an outsider. My hands shook, my voice wobbled, but the applause at the end felt like a hug from the universe. Community building. I helped organize a storytelling event where people from different countries shared stories in English. There was a grandmother from Japan talking about her childhood, a Nigerian student sharing his journey to the UK, and a Polish nurse describing her dreams. We laughed, we cried, we connected. Each of these experiences wove me deeper into the culture. I wasn't just learning English, I was growing as a person. I was becoming more empathetic, more confident, and more open to the world. Part 5. The quiet arrival of fluency. A year after I arrived in the UK, I was sitting in a London cafe with a friend I'd met at the language exchange. We were talking about everything: life, politics, music, even our favorite TV shows. And then, it hit me. I wasn't thinking in Spanish anymore. I wasn't translating every sentence in my head. I was just talking. The words flowed naturally, like a river finding its path. Fluency didn't come with a grand announcement or a certificate. It arrived quietly, like the first light of dawn. One day, I was struggling to order coffee. The next, I was debating the meaning of life with a friend. I was being myself in another language, and that felt like a miracle. But here's the real treasure. The language was just the beginning. The true gift was who I had become. I was braver, willing to take risks and laugh at my mistakes. I was more patient, understanding that growth takes time. I was more open, eager to listen to others and learn from their stories. Learning English didn't just give me words, it gave me a new lens to see the world. Who are you becoming? When I think back to the person I was before this journey, I see someone who was hopeful but hesitant, curious but afraid. I see a guy who wanted to explore the world but wasn't sure he was good enough to do it. And when I look at who I am now, I see someone who's not perfect, but is proud of his progress. I see someone who's learned to embrace mistakes, to seek connection, and to keep growing. Learning a language isn't just about adding vocabulary to your brain. It's about adding layers to your identity. It's about becoming someone who can see the world through multiple perspectives, who can laugh in two languages, who can build bridges where walls once stood. Final lessons. Your roadmap to fluency. If you're listening to this and wondering, could I do what Adam did? Could I learn a language and feel at home in it? The answer is yes. Not a hesitant maybe, but a loud, confident yes. Here are the lessons I've learned along the way, and I hope they light the path for you. Start where you are. You don't need to be perfect to begin. You just need to take the first step, even if it's small. Download an app, learn 5 words, say hello to a stranger. Every step counts. Embrace mistakes. Mistakes aren't failures. They're proof you're trying. Every mispronounced word, every grammar slip is a badge of courage. Live the language. Language isn't a school subject to study. It's a tool for life. Use it to order food, to make a friend, to tell a story. Make it yours. Find your people. Learning alone is hard. Find a community, a language partner, a meetup group, a podcast like this one. Surround yourself with others who cheer you on. Celebrate small wins. Keep a journal of your progress. Write down the first time you understand a joke or have a conversation without freezing. Those moments are gold. Be kind to yourself. Learning a language is an act of bravery. Be patient. Be gentle. You're doing something amazing. Boss. Laugh often. Your mistakes will become your favorite stories. Laugh at them, share them, and let them remind you how far you've come. If this episode made you smile, sparked a tear, or lit a fire in your heart, then I'm talking to you. You're not just a listener. You're a dreamer, a doer, a future fluent speaker. Your journey is waiting, and it starts today. Here's what I invite you to do. Subscribe to the English Adventure so you don't miss a single episode. We're building a community of learners, and you're part of it. Share this episode with a friend who's dreaming of learning a language. Your encouragement could be the push they need. Comment with your own story. What language are you learning? What's your dream? Let's celebrate your journey together. Take one step. Today, learn one new word. Watch one video in your target language, or say one sentence out loud. Start small, but start now. Who knows? Maybe in a future episode I'll be sharing your story. The story of how you went from tourist to fluent, from dreamer to doer. Thank you for joining me on this first episode. I'm Adam, and my journey is just getting started. And so is yours. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing your dreams. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and never stop exploring. See you in episode 2.